Hello YouTube, it's your girl Crystal Lane. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, this is another edition of Bible Unboxing. And remember, we are currently studying the book of Esther. Now, I know that I missed last week also. My glasses, every time I get ready to do them, I'm like, my glasses are so dirty. We missed last week also. I had dental surgery and I couldn't eat. Let's start there. So I was probably starving to death last week Sunday. And I couldn't talk. And you didn't want to see me look with my face all looking like that anyway. So, but we're back at Esther. And today is Sunday. So, of course, we're going to talk about what took place today. Today we're in chapter 5. And then we only got 5 more Sundays to, possibly 5 more Sundays to discuss the book of Esther. So, chapter 5, there's a lot. Okay, let's talk about, there's a lot that took place so far. Remember, King Xerxes or Hashawayas, I can't say his, I can say he goes by King Xerxes in certain areas, but King Xerxes was originally married, you remember, to Queen Vashti, and King Xerxes wanted to go to war again against Greece, and in order to try to get people on board, he threw this great big old, this is, you know, book 1, he threw this great big old banquet and this party for, I think, 30 to 60 days, I don't remember, and then invited the locals and the officials, and everybody was invited, right? And he lavished it up, great food, great ambiance, all of that. And then the last 7 days, he had this big feast. Well, he had this party, and then he had this great big feast for 7 days. During that feast, he had asked Queen Vashti if he had sent his people, 7 men, to go and get Queen Vashti, because she was known to be this beautiful queen, and he wanted to go ahead and show her off. And so he sent his people to go get her so they can put her on this little pedestal or whatnot and carry her in. Queen Vashti was like, too bad, so sad, I'm not coming. Me and the girls was hanging out, because she, although he had his party, she also had her party with some of the ladies. She's like, nah, we doing nails, we talking hair, whatnot, what for, ain't no way I'm coming. And he was like, what does you mean she not coming? And, you know, King Xerxes was pretty upset. He was smoking, because now he embarrassed, of course he's embarrassed. And he's like, how am I supposed to, you know, get other people to follow me, and I can't even get my own wife to follow me? What should I do? So he goes to his wise people and his council, and he says, what do you guys think I should do? You know, I want to off with her head. Okay, he didn't say that, but that's what I would have been thinking. I want to be like, off with your head. But they was like, no, set her aside. Basically saying divorce her, and then we can have this, you know, this beauty pageant, and you can go around and you can get all of these different, you can have all these other beautiful women to come, and then you pick a queen from there. Well, he did that, and then somehow Esther came into the picture via her uncle cousin daddy. I mean, he's a lot to her. He's her guardian, basically, and he's an older guy that came and brought her over, and she won King Xerxes' favor, and he selected her to be his queen. All right, so that's that story. That's probably more like chapter 1 and 2, and then chapter 3 and 4, you're dealing with the attitude between Malachi and Haman. Now, Malachi is Queen Esther's uncle, cousin, daddy, and that sounds so strange to say. Anyway, her guardian, that's what I'll start calling him. And then her relative, her male relative, and then Haman is the second in command to King Xerxes. So remember, Haman was like, everybody should bow, and there's several different ways that bowing can be. It could be where you stand and you bow, or as soon as when he walks into a room like with a judge, you stand up to acknowledge that somebody of importance has walked into the room. Either way it goes, he wanted everybody, when he comes into the vicinity, everybody do some level of respect, to show him some level of respect. Bow, stand, whatever the case may be. Malachi was like, forget him. I ain't doing nothing. He ain't over me, or I don't like him, or he don't deserve my respect. I don't know what Malachi's thing was, but Malachi's like, I ain't doing it. So that went on for years. People's like even asking him periodically, dude, what's up with you? Why you ain't bowing? Why you ain't bowing, scraping when Haman walk in the room? And then he just says, I'm just not. They never said whether or not he gave an explanation as to why he's not doing it, but he did. So finally, some little snitch, he should have got some stitches. Some little snitch went to Haman and was like, hey man, have you noticed that Malachi don't get up when you walk in the room or whatnot? He don't bow and scrape or whatnot. You notice that? And Haman is on his high horse, right? He don't know. And it's a lot of them. So, and keep in mind, both of them are government officials, but Haman is second in command, and then Malachi is also in the king's court some kind of way. He stands at the gate. So, I mean, from what I understand, that it has some significance. That's why they keep mentioning. Keep in mind, when you're reading the Bible, and we got these little fine details, if you don't review the history, which I don't, but my church goes into these history things, so that's why I'm able to tell it to you. But keep in mind, these things we consider small, minute details really mean something. I don't think words are left, words don't have a significance when we're reading them. So when they say, you know, he's at the gate, I'm like, what is he, a guard? You know, that's what we're imagining. But really and truly, it's almost like our modern day Congress, and they're at the gate. So they have their business right there, whatever. So that's why they were saying that, you know, that that's where Malachi is. Anyway, now I'm 7 minutes, child. I'm running late. So Haman's still upset. Malachi's like, so be it, whatever. So a lot of time has passed, and that's the other thing when we're reading these things in the Bible. Remember that a lot of time has passed. They tell us dates or whatnot, and if we don't know what they are, we think, okay, that was so yesterday. Well, today this happened. No, this stuff is happening over time. So Malachi wouldn't acknowledge Haman for, you know, several years before somebody finally snitched on him. Anyway, so Haman is all upset. He's in a tizzy. He doesn't like it. So he's like, I'm gonna kill him and all his people. Strong hate. That's some serious hate, where you say, I'm gonna kill you, not your whole family, child, because people wipe out your whole family, all your bloodline. No, he said all your people. That means all the Jewish people, because that's what he's like. Do you? Because the snitch was like, oh, and this is what I'm assuming that the snitch said. You know who his people are? He Jewish. He this. He that. You know, they already act like they better than other people. Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm sure somebody, whoever went to Haman, was probably pumping it up. Now he might not have. Child, I'm just putting on my own spin. Because why would Haman, you know, jump out the basement window about this? Anyway, so He goes to the king. Haman goes to the king, and he tells the king, hey, I'll give you something pounds of silver, is what he offered, per, I think, the NLT version of the Bible. So many pounds of silver if you allow me to deal with the Jewish people how I see fit. So he basically paid the king off. The king was like, how many pounds of silver? Go sell, come get all this silver. You do with them people what you want to do with them people, right? So now the plan is that he's getting ready to wipe out all the Jewish people. He didn't pick this specific date that he plans to do that. And so here we are. Somehow, some way, Malachi finds out that this is what's getting ready to happen. And so he goes to the Queen Esther, and he says, Haman has been given permission to wipe out our people. And don't think that when he says that he's wiping out our people, that it does not include you. Once they find out that you are Jewish, just like everybody else, you're going to also be wiped out. And that's a very interesting thing to me, because sometimes we think we're special, right? And you've seen this in this most recent political climate, where people's like, oh no, he's talking about those people, not me, because I'm good. I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the special ones. Or, you know, my name is Ben and I'm not in it. But then you find out the hard way that no, you in it. You part of those people. Oh, so sad for you. But if you this, because he wants to wipe out the people as a whole. He can't leave you open to have babies and all of that. And then more of your people are still here. But that's basically what her uncle went to her and said, hey, he says he's going to wipe them out, and this is going to be you. You are in a position, this is going to be you also. You are in a position where you can actually possibly enlist the assistance of the king, because you the queen now. You know, mind you, King Xerxes has a lot of wives. He has a lot of wives, but she is the queen. All of these other wives are, you know, down there. After he set Vashti aside, Esther took Vashti's place. So he's like, you got to talk to your husband. You got to talk to the king and have him to pull that back, right? So Queen Esther is like, well, you know, I'm in good. Nobody treats me differently. Everybody treats me with respect and love because I am the queen. Okay, they might not treat you with respect or love. They just treat you according to your current station. Get knocked off that station if you want to, then all that love could possibly be gone. Anyway, so Esther was like, well, let me see what I can do. Let me think about it and let me see how I want to handle it. So she says, go to the people and tell them to fast for 3 days. And I'm going to fast also, and I'm gonna tell my ladies up in here with that, my ladies in waiting or whatnot up in here to also fast. And then I'm gonna see how to best approach this with my husband. Now, mind you, based on what I hear, now I missed the last week's or whatnot, I have to go back and listen to that. But based on what I understand, she hasn't really seen the king. She doesn't, because the king got so many, I mean, he got so many concubines, you know, it's one of those situations. So he called on whoever he wants to call on. And you don't see the king until the king summons you. How do they say? Don't come for me unless called for. That's how the king is. And if you come to the king without being called for, you could be assassinated. You could be off with your head, right? So she's like, let me see how I'm approach my husband, because he hasn't called for me. I don't know, right? So chapter 5, we finally got to chapter 5. So chapter 5, what it says right away, the first sentence says, on the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the king's palace in front of the king's quarters, while the king was sitting on his royal throne inside the throne room, opposite the entrance to the palace. And when the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, she won his favor in his sight, and he held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. Then Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. All right, so Queen Vashti, a woman after my own heart, right? So the 3rd day, that means the 3rd day of fasting. So she was in fasting at this point. So this is the 3rd day of fasting. She went on and she got dressed up, right? That's what you do. You get dressed up. You want to look your best if somebody gonna be like off your head. Don't come up in there with your little bonnet on, your little bonnet on and your little, mask on your face. Husband, I need to talk to you. No, she got all nice and dressed up. She put on her royal robe, because before she say anything, her appearance is either going to spark some type of feeling. Her appearance is going to spark some type of a feeling to the king. So she put on her royal robe to say, look, I'm your queen. Let's start there. I'm not just one of your little concubines and one of your little others over there. I'm the one. And then she got all prettied up. And they already said that she was beautiful, because they talk about these things in the Bible, believe it or not. I mean, they talk about it a lot. And so she got all dolled up, all prettied out, and then she stood there, and then the king probably, this is me, because it don't say this, but he looked at her up and down like, and then he was like, ooh, my boo look good. I don't know if that's what he said, child, but I can only imagine. He's like, ooh, my boo look good, right? And so then he extends the scepter. Now that matters. Again, the Bible has stuff in here that matters. I wouldn't have known this had I not been to church. That's why you watching my show, so you know. So from what has been told is the scepter means that, okay, I'm extending you some level of grace, and she touches it to accept the grace in which that he's showing her, meaning that, okay, it's okay for you to be here. So she touches the scepter or whatnot. And then the king says, what is it, Queen Esther? What's your request? It shall be given you, even to the half of my kingdom. Child, so this guy is smooth operating. He's like, wife, what you want? I'll give you just about anything, all the way up to half of my kingdom. Now, did he really mean that? Child, no, it just sounds good. He basically saying, just ask me what you want. I know you're here because you want some, child. What you want, and I'll give you just about anything, is what he's saying. Or he's like, you looking so good, you can have half my kingdom. Look, again, that's how I'm reading, child. That's how I'm reading. Anyway, so Esther looks at him, and Esther says, my king, because you gonna go and use your title, you gonna go and pump him, my king. I don't know if that's what she said, but this is what I'm saying on her behalf. My king, is really great to see you, and it just feels like it's been so long. What I want to invite you and Haman to dinner, to a feast today. I want to feed you, king. I want to spend some time with you. Is that okay? Esther, woman after my own heart. Now, my pastor says he considers this wisdom, because keep in mind, you want something. Most time people go in there, especially if you're the queen, you feel a level of entitlement. But Esther is young, so she may haven't gotten that level of entitlement quite yet. And especially because now her uncle, cousin, daddy, her guardian, has shared with her that they're talking about killing those people. So she doesn't want to approach the king that way. Instead, she's approaching the king like, I want to do something for you. I want to spend some time with you. I want you to get to know me first. So I want to invite you, both you and Haman, to a feast. So he's like, oh, bet. Everybody, go on and summon Haman. We finna go into this feast that my wife didn't put together. My wife, the queen, didn't put together, right? And so they go to the feast and they have a wonderful time. Such a good time. And so then the king goes and he asks her, because he like, the food is good, the drink is good, the company is good. You got my right hand man, Haman, up in here, second in command. Thank you. This is wonderful. Now, what do you want, Esther? Whatever you give, I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom. So he says that again. And then she says, oh, you flatter me. I don't know if that's what she said, but she's like, oh, king, my king, that sounds so kind of you to say. She's like, I want to ask that you come to dine with me for another feast, both you and Haman, again tomorrow. And he's like, and she said, and I promise tomorrow after we feast, I'll tell you exactly what I want to ask for. But for now, I'm just enjoying your company, and I'd love for you to come back again tomorrow. And so, and I don't know that's how she said it, but that's how she humbling herself, right? And she's asking for his time. And so the king is like, oh, you're so sweet. You're so special to me. All right. I won't give you half my kingdom just yet. I'll come back tomorrow. We had such a great time. We'll come back tomorrow for the feast. And so that's the plan, that they're going to come back tomorrow for the feast. So then So Haman leaves. Now, it doesn't talk about what King Xerxes said, but it talks about Haman. And this is on chapter 5, verse 9. And it says, and Haman went out that day, joyful and glad of heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he neither rose nor trembled before him, he was filled with wrath against Mordecai. So Haman is like, oh, I had a good time. We had dinner, was good. It's just me, the king, and the queen. She invited me specifically by name, what for. And then as soon as he walked out, there is at the gate Mordecai. And Mordecai might not even looked up. Mordecai probably didn't even looked up. They was probably like, all rise. And Mordecai was like, second in command, so-and-so. Haman is in the house. And then Mordecai was like, bumper Haman, child. Ain't nobody thinking, especially now. And you would think it would be different for him. You would think he would have said, oh, he's talking about killing the people. Because you know how some people are where they'll start to change their behaviors when they think they're in trouble or whatnot. I'm about to get fired, or I'm about to get off with my head. So now I'm going to try to play nice. Mordecai was like, no, it's still the same. And I'm going to trust that God going to figure this out. We didn't pray, we didn't fasted, what for. And if it has to be off with my head, then so be it. You know what I mean? But he didn't play nice with Haman. So here they said he was filled with wrath against Mordecai. And then 10, nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, and he sent and brought his friend and his wife Zeresh. And Haman recounted to them the splendor of his riches, the number of sons, all the promotions which the king had honored him, and how he had advanced himself above the officials and the servants of the king. So Haman go call his homies. Haman go call his homies. He calls his wife, and that's my mom. He calls his wife. Give me a second. He calls his homies, he calls his wife, and then he sits down with them and he's like, dude, I'm rich. I got all these sons. I got all this money. I done pulled myself up from my bootstrap, and this little Jewish person, he probably, how some people get, and he might not have, but he had a couple little nasty slurs, a couple names or whatnot. That's usually how they are when they're indignant, right? And about Mordecai, he's like, he got the nerves to not rise. I'm gonna get him. And so they say here that he said, and Haman recounted to them the splendor and the riches. Then Haman said, even Queen Esther let no one but me come with the king to the feast she prepared. And tomorrow also I am invited by her together with the king. Yet all this is worth nothing to me, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. So you got all these wonderful things going on for yourself. This is some serious hate. You know what I mean? You got all these great things going on for you, but you allow one person to poo-poo, or what you deem as poo-poo, on you, and it's taking you out of your element. To me, that's a life lesson in itself. Do you have that situation where you go someplace and you see this one person or this one person around? And I've been around people like this. And then they have that much power, because that's what it is, in my opinion. They got that much power and control over whether or not you're having a good time or you're happy, just by being present. Let me tell you who got that much power over me. Not a soul. Not a soul. There is no way that your dislike for someone should have that type of power to modify your mood, to the point you just want to basically plan a murder. You want to kill them. You ain't having a good time. Your face all frowned up, and there's nobody in this world that has that level. I walk in the room and I see you and I know you don't like me. I'm waving and I'm having a good time. We ain't never got to talk no more. I will acknowledge you because I don't have that kind of hate in my heart. Nobody has that kind of control over who I am and what I do and how I feel. It just makes no earthly sense to me. And if you're that person that be like, oh, she here, now I'm going to sit all, or oh, he here, now I'm going to sit all tucked up and frowned up. Something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. You need to talk it over with somebody. You need to self-reflect, because I don't hate anybody that much to allow them to have that impact on my emotions and my feelings and whether or not I'm having a good time. So it's you, not them, because they could care less. They could be like me. I could care less. Don't put your hands on me. You can talk about me all you want to. Oh, that bald head, blah, blah. Talk it over with your people. But I'm still over here having a good time. So don't allow that to be you. If it is you right now, go ahead and wipe that on out your way of being. Because you ain't hurt nobody. You definitely ain't hurting that person. Because best believe if somebody walking around like that with me, they ain't hurt me. And if I'm with somebody who is like that, I usually separate myself from them. I'm not sitting next to them. Go on and sit in your corner and powwow, but you not dragging me into it. Haman dragged his people into it. They started plotting, right? So let me go ahead and get back to the story. So then his wife, Zeresh, and all his friends said to him, let a gallows 50 cubits high. Now my pastor said 50 cubits high equals 75 feet. 50 cubits high be made, and in the morning tell the king to have Mordecai hung upon it. Then go joyfully with the king to the feast. This idea pleased Haman, and he had the gallows made. This is a 75-foot tall gallows. And from what my pastor says, he thinks, and it's not guaranteed and it's not for sure, but he thinks this is the way that they used to do these things. They would impale these people first, impale them, and then they hung them so that everybody could see. And so that, you know, they hoist them up and hung them so that everybody could see that they're died on the stake. Which is so crazy to me. And it's 75 feet. And so they go ahead and do this and get that ready for Haman. So one of the things I want to point out, those are two things that I definitely had, was the fact that, you know, Haman allowed this thing to really impact his mood and in the way in which he is, to the point that he wants to commit murder, genocide. And the other thing is the fact that Esther didn't go right away to the king and tell him exactly what she wanted. She used a different type of way in which to approach the king. Sometimes it's better to catch more, no, they say it's always better to catch more bees with honey, right? So in this instance, she wanted to get to know the king. She wanted the king to get to know her a little bit better, know her character, understand that she's not looking to harm him in any way. She's just simply not looking to have her family or her people harmed. So that's chapter 5. If you haven't already done so, read 1 through 5. Chapter 5. I definitely want to be in the house on next week Sunday so we can talk about chapter 6, because I think some good stuff is going to be happening there, and I'm really enjoying the book of Esther. Hopefully you all are too. This one's a longer video. My apologies. That's because I did the long recap. I won't do that every week. Remember, YouTube, if you're not good to anybody else, be good to yourself. Until next time, see you soon. Bye now.